All right, so we should be live today. I'm joined by actually a very special guest, Dave Smith, who's going to be talking to us about pinpointing the best lead sources on Facebook. And Dave and I have actually got a history of working together in the past, so I actually know very well how much Dave geeks out on this type of stuff, especially Facebook. And for any of you who may not be familiar with Dave, he's built a multi seven figure online business himself through Facebook. And he actually probably has one of the best Facebook marketing software on the market right now that I've used and I've seen to actually generate leads, grow an audience, and generate clients through Facebook. I've actually popped the link down in the description of this particular live stream today. If you just wanted to check it out, if you're interested. Now, Dave, I'd probably say you're the biggest expert I know on Facebook. Like, I don't know anyone better right now who knows Facebook better than you, because I think I know you so well and what length you go to figuring out all these new tricks and stuff on Facebook. And you've taught me so much when it comes to Facebook. I owe a lot of my Facebook success to you. I get about 90% of my own clients through Facebook. And a lot of those strategies have come from you. You're the source of a lot of that teaching and learning. And I'm always watching what you're doing on Facebook, because like what you do works. If anyone knows Dave or sees Dave or checks him out later on, you go to his profile, he has crazy engagement. I saw one of your posts. It's got about 800 comments on it. It's crazy, right? You get crazy engagement. You know what you're doing on Facebook. And I'm really excited that you're going to be talking to the audience today about some Facebook stuff. So we're going to get into that in just 1 second. We're going to be talking about maybe some Facebook leads that you guys are missing out on, some new Facebook tools for lead generation, some hidden lead sources. Everyone's looking for more leads, so we're going to show you where they're hiding. And we're also going to be talking about some stuff that's really important when it comes to marketing on Facebook. Maybe you're coming up against some problems potentially, and we want to keep you on the right side of Facebook and make sure you're playing within the rules as well, so that you get the most out of the platform. So if you're excited, hit that like button, smash like, and if you're listening to this, let us know in the comments, say hello, just drop live so we know who is tuning here with us. So Dave, before we get into it, how's fatherhood? How's baby Una?
Fatherhood is fantastic, and it gives me more material to post on Facebook, so it's a double bonus.
A lot of baby spam. I see it. It's good.
Hey,
She's cute though, so
you know what they say, that if you want to get engagement on Facebook, here's the simple trick: either have a baby or have a pet, and that's easy. You're gonna get a 50% boost right there.
exactly. So Dave shares baby pics, I share dog pics. So we got a good combo going on there. Tell us one thing before we get into it, because I'm genuinely interested. What's one thing that you didn't expect about being a dad? One thing that you didn't expect that you're like, oh wow, I didn't really know this was going to happen being a dad.
Well, yeah, so this is a little bit personal. So, Alex, you know this, but when my wife Lucy and I, when we got married, we both said 100% we are never having babies. Neither of us have ever wanted babies. Our lives are like very full of other things that we really enjoy. And so, the thing that I didn't expect is how fun it is to have a baby, how fun it is to do play with a baby, to go to things like we go places that we would never have gone before, or we would have thought would be really boring. But going there with Una, we now see her enjoy it and see her smile and see her take it in for the first time. And it's so fun, to the point where I would rather do that. I would rather do that than a lot of the adventurous stuff that we used to. So that surprised me.
Nice. And I see the stuff that you guys are doing. I see you on the hikes. I love it. I love all that stuff. So really happy for you. Someone says in the audience that they love all the baby pictures. So you're doing something right. Keep sharing.
Good,
So
because they're gonna keep coming. You can't stop me.
no, that's you now, proper dad life. So let's dive into it. Tell us why you like Facebook so much. Like, why do you like Facebook for marketing? Let's start there before we get into kind of the main content here.
Yeah, good question. And my love for Facebook, it started probably about 8 years ago, actually. It's back when I was an online fitness coach. And I've told this story many times before on different podcasts I've been on, but real short synopsis was I sold my gym and was starting to transition my business online. And the first real commercial successful program I had was this thing called a 10 and 4 challenge, which was basically an online challenge run through Facebook where women would lose 10 pounds in 4 weeks. That was the selling feature of it. And we did that through a Facebook group. And back then, Facebook groups were brand new. In fact, I remember starting my very first Facebook group, and a buddy of mine who was a quote unquote social media marketing guru, he actually ran a business helping businesses with social media. He told me that I had messed up because I didn't want a group. I wanted a business page. Back then, business pages were all the rage. And I stuck with the group. And the thing that made me fall in love with Facebook was this communal aspect. It was so cool seeing these women who were working in my 10 and 4 challenge like fall in love with each other. And it actually turned into an upsell. So unbeknownst to me, I didn't go in with this plan, but I saw these women love being around each other and supporting one another. And I didn't really have to do that much. I just facilitated the community. And then those women who had bought an initial program ended up paying a subscription fee to stay in the community. And so that's when I was like, okay, Facebook, I knew Facebook was cool, but this Facebook groups thing, this is going to be huge. And here we are, probably 7, 8 years later, Facebook groups just keep getting better. So I'm a believer.
I'm a believer in Facebook groups too. Obviously, we spent time working on a Facebook group together, which was one of the biggest out there in the industry, which was incredible for obviously the things you mentioned, building community, building a business. And we've obviously started building a new one right now, the remote coaches group, where this is actually being streamed right now. And we're very pro Facebook groups. They're great places to provide value and build community. And so I back you on that. Let's dive into why people are here. Okay. They're not here for us to talk about the kids. They're not here about your experience using Facebook. They're here about how to actually use it to get leads. So let's go a little bit deeper when it comes to like getting leads on Facebook. Where are some places that people may be missing out when it comes to getting leads on Facebook that they could be looking? Where are the leads in the shadows, Dave? Tell us.
Yeah, there's a couple of places actually. So I'm going to start with one. And I alluded to this a second ago. Back in the day, 5, 8, 10 years ago, if you had a business on Facebook, you had to start a business page. And unfortunately, things have changed a lot on Facebook. Back then, you could create a business page, you could post on your business page. Lots of people would see it. You could get clients, you could get customers that way. Facebook realized, hey, we got to monetize this. We're not running a free service here. And so now, if you run a business page and you want anyone to see your content, you want to get leads, you want to get customers, you just got to pay, right? You got to pay for Facebook ads. And I get it. Facebook it's an expensive service to offer. And so they need to generate revenue somehow. However, the problem is that mindset of if you have a business on Facebook, you create a business page, it's stuck around. And so a lot of people today think I'm going to have a profile, a personal profile for myself. I'm going to have a business page, and that's where all my business stuff goes. And maybe I'll have a Facebook group. And unfortunately, it's just not going to work. You need to be using your personal profile to make sales through your business. And when I say that, Lucy, my wife, and I, we teach on this a lot. We always get pushback, and people will say things like, well, I don't want to spam my family and friends, or I don't want to turn people off, or I don't want to get in trouble with Facebook. So there's this idea that selling through your personal profile is something that Facebook dislikes. And therefore, getting leads through your personal profile is something that you don't want to do because you don't want to get in trouble with Facebook. And maybe there was a time when that was a little bit true. Facebook wanted to keep your personal life and your business life separate, but Facebook is smart. Zuckerberg, as much heat as he gets, he's a smart guy, and he's realized that a lot of entrepreneurs want to use their profile for business. He also realized that when they're doing that, so for any entrepreneurs here who are watching this, when you're posting business related content and your friends and family are interested, it's good for Facebook. It keeps people engaged. It keeps people on the platform. And so Zuckerberg and friends, they see this, that as entrepreneurs are using their profile for business, it keeps people on Facebook longer. It makes people more engaged. They said, okay, how can we actually help this? How can we help you generate more leads through your personal profile? And I want to read a quote directly from Facebook. This is very recent. So as we film this, Alex, Facebook is just rolling out some changes to your personal profile intended directly to help you grow your business through your personal profile, not your business page. Listen to what Facebook says. Facebook, I quote, says, we want creators to reach their full potential on Facebook, and that means giving you ways to earn money. Okay. It's talking about earning money on Facebook. Until now, these tools were only available on business pages, but we know many people are using their profiles. So we're introducing a professional mode for profiles. With professional mode, users will be able to unlock revenue opportunities and gain access to tools to help grow their audience.
Huge.
And so the really exciting thing from all of this is Facebook is saying, hey, we understand you can get clients and you can get leads through your personal profile. You're doing it anyway. It's benefiting your business. It's benefiting our business. let's go all in and we're going to help you do this in a bigger way. And so, depending where you live in the world, you might have already gotten an invitation to open up your professional mode on your personal profile. That's Facebook saying, do business through your personal profile. Don't be afraid. We want you to do it.
It's kind of interesting that you mentioned this because I noticed in the last couple of days, literally in the last couple of days. So a client messaged me about this specifically about turning creator mode on or mentioning creator mode. And it was kind of the first that I'd heard of it myself, that was only a couple of days ago. So it's like so new, but it's so interesting that they're making this shift because they're just acknowledging that people are using their personal profiles anyway for business. So they
Mhm.
might as well profiteer and help people use them more effectively. Another thing I noticed as well when I was actually sharing content on Facebook is I got some kind of like award, and I don't know if you saw this, but everyone's getting different notifications and updates at the moment, depending on where you live in the world. But I got an award for posting content, and then it gave me helpful suggestions of
Mhm.
other things to do. And this was
Mhm.
through my personal profile. So it said, if you post reels and you post live videos and you post more content, we're going to award you again for doing that. So now they're kind of incentivizing people to actually be creators and create on the platform. And this was through my business page because that's what I use when it comes to building my business. We have a business page for ads, but we have a personal profile for organic marketing. And I'm seeing that pro shift with the kind of updates that they're doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, takeaways for everyone here is number one, don't be afraid to use your personal profile. In fact, if you're avoiding using your personal profile for your business and you're an entrepreneur, you're missing the boat. And the neat thing about Facebook is very blatant in what it wants us to do. So, it's got its algorithm, it's seeing what is best for Facebook, what keeps people on Facebook. And then it tells us and says, go do this. So, Alex, like you were
Mhm.
just talking about, getting those tips. And for those people who do it, who listen to Facebook's rules and listen to the suggestions and do what Facebook wants, Facebook rewards us. And Alex, you mentioned when you introed me, you said go take a look at Dave's profile and see all the engagement. Is it because I'm some sort of celebrity or because I'm something special? No, I watch what Facebook wants me to do. I do it, and Facebook sends leads my way. It's amazing. And that's the same for everyone who's watching this. The same is true. So your first takeaway is business pages, great for ads. If you want to run ads, definitely go over there. But personal pages, your personal profile, Facebook wants you to be promoting your business there. Do it. If you're skipping that, you're missing out on leads that Facebook wants to give you.
Awesome. So before we dive into some like software and tools, I'm gonna like put a pin in that one for a second because I think it would make more sense for us to dive into um maybe like some hidden sources or places to find leads on Facebook. Okay, if someone's looking to find leads or grow their audience, there may be some obvious ones and not so obvious ones. Is there any one lead source that people typically overlook that you want to kind of share with us today on the live? Because I'm interested, and I'm sure people listening who want more leads are interested. If there's any little pots of gold that we can tap into?
A good question, because there is, and there's some recent changes that have made an awesome pot of gold. So before we go there, again, the first one is just using your personal profile, get leads there. And if you don't know this, your personal profile allows you to have up to 5,000 friends. And so really your goal as a business owner is to fill up those 5,000 friend spots. The analogy I like to use is imagine with me if you're watching this, imagine that you prepared a speech and you were asked to give this speech at some sort of event, some sort of conference or an event related to your industry. And so you work hard preparing this speech. You're really excited. You got all this value to deliver. You know it's going to change people's lives. It's going to help grow your business. And so you're standing backstage. Picture this with me. You're backstage and you hear the announcer. They call out your name. They do a little intro for you. And then you walk out on stage. There's bright lights coming down. And you look out at the audience and it's empty. Just like all these empty seats. Maybe there's like one or two people scattered here and there in every row, but most of the audience is empty. And that's what too many business owners are doing with their personal profile is they've got these 5,000 seats they can fill up and they're choosing not to do it. And they're speaking in front of an empty audience. And so if you're watching this right now or listening to this later and you feel like when you put out content, you're not getting traction, you're not getting engagement, you're not getting leads, I challenge you to take a look at your audience. Have you filled up those 5,000 seats? Because that is job number one. Alex, you asked for a hidden lead source. Can I share my screen and then maybe we can kind of describe this for anyone who's just listening to audience or to
Yeah,
the audio?
yeah, definitely. And guys, if you're tuning into the live stream with us, let us know that you can see the screen when we share now. Just put I can see so that we know that it's streaming and we're not just talking to a blank screen? Go for it, Dave. Yeah. Let me
Alex, can
just
you can see my screen right now?
I can see it. So, guys in the audience, if you're listening, just let us know. Just put "I can see," and then Dave knows that you can see this in front of us. I can see it though, Dave. So
Okay,
let's go.
perfect. So, if you were listening to this audio only, I'll describe where I'm at. So, I went over to my personal profile and I'm just scrolling down on my profile. And I want to take you guys down to the section where you can see my friends. And you can see right now it says I've got 4,691 friends. Remember, you got 5,000 seats. Your job is to fill up those 5,000 seats. So, what I'm doing is I'm constantly filling up to 5,000. And at 5,000, Facebook caps me and says, Dave, you can't have any more leads. This is the max number you can get. And so then again, using software, some tools, and we can talk more about that in a second. I go and remove people from my audience who aren't engaging, who obviously aren't good leads. That opens up some more spots where I can fill up those spots and bring my audience back up to 5,000. So this is constantly a cycle that I'm doing on a monthly basis, removing, we call them dead leads, people who aren't that interested, and filling up those spots with good leads, people who are interested. So that's your audience source or your lead source number one. Here's the hidden one that I want to show you, because no one's talking about this. And I think the reason why no one's talking about it is because Facebook hasn't until recently been clear as to how it works. I'm going to scroll up. And again, if you're listening to the audio, what I'm doing is I scrolled up on my personal profile and there's a little section right under my bio where it says followed by, and in this case, it says followed by 1,832 people. And this is a second audience or a second lead source that many people don't even realize, or they don't know how it works. So let me fill you in here because there have been some changes to your followed by section. So you can get followers on Facebook in three ways. The first way is that someone sees your content and proactively they say, oh, Alex, I like this guy. I like what he's putting out. And they go over to your profile, and I'll show you here in these three dots up in the top right-hand corner. They can click on those three dots. And this is my profile, so I obviously can't follow myself. But if a stranger came here and they clicked on this, there would be a button that says follow, and they could choose to follow me. When they do that, what it's saying to Facebook is, well, I don't really know Dave, or Alex, using an example. I don't really know Alex. So being a friend maybe isn't something that I want to do, but I am interested in his content. Therefore, I want to follow him. Therefore, Facebook, please show me more of Alex's content. This is huge because you can start to accumulate followers beyond your 5,000 friends. So that's one way you can get followers. Another way you can get followers is when someone sends you a friend request. You'll get a little notification, a little pop-up, and it'll say, do you want to accept or decline this friend request? Well, this is a change. Facebook has changed recently. If you do neither, so if you don't accept or decline, that person automatically goes into your follower count. And that might seem like not a big deal, but this is a huge deal because as you fill up your 5,000 friend spots, you now have capacity to take on unlimited followers. So think about this as an example for you, anyone watching this, or if you're listening to this later. Imagine someone sends you a friend request and maybe you don't recognize the name and you're like, I don't know if I want to accept this person as a friend. And so instead of declining, you just leave it. You just leave it. Now that person's following you. Now they can see your content and you're not using up a friend spot on someone that you may or may not want in your actual friend audience. That's the second way you can get followers. There is a third way you can get followers. The third way you can get followers is as you build up your friend audience, eventually you will get to 5,000. And once you hit 5,000, every single friend request that comes in when people ask to be your friend, automatically Facebook converts them into a follower. So let's do some math here. I fill up my 5,000 friend spots all the time. So I've got 5,000 people in my audience. I just started building up my following and now I've got almost 2,000 more people. So now my audience is at 7,000. I think this year I'll probably get this follower count up to 5 or 10,000. And so now my personal audience on Facebook went from a max of 5,000 to I'll easily have 10,000, maybe even 15,000. So I'll stop sharing there, but that's a really cool hidden lead source that most people aren't talking about at all. Alex, like I'd love to hear, is that something that you've heard before? Is that something that you were utilizing?
I have some questions. So
Yeah.
right now on my personal profile, I don't actually have the follower count displaying on my personal profile. So is that a setting that myself or anyone listening to this would need to turn on, tweak? What do we need to do there?
Great. Yeah, great question. I had some people message me when I taught about this one other time, and it seems like Facebook is still tweaking this because, like I mentioned, they're making changes, and so they roll it out in different regions at different times. Just like the professional mode, the creator mode. I'm in Canada. It hasn't been rolled out in Canada yet.
Got it.
followers being displayed has been. The second thing that it seems like is that once you hit a certain threshold of followers, then it shows up automatically under that bio section. So I didn't
Okay.
turn on any settings. It's just once I hit a certain amount, then it popped up.
Okay. My second follow-up question to that is, you mentioned about inbound, people adding you and you not accepting the request and then them becoming followers as a default of that. How do we build the following up? Maybe you mentioned this and I missed it, but let me clarify. How do you build the following up without inbound friend requests? Is there a way to do it?
Yeah, two ways. Number one is to put out good content because when
Okay.
your friends, when they comment or engage on your content, their friends see it. If their friends see it and say, "Oh, I like this guy," they may choose to send you a friend request. In which case, they could become your follower automatically, or they might just automatically choose to follow you. So that is number one, and then number two is to build up your friends. Listen, imagine if you only have 1,000 friends and you have these inbound friend requests coming in; they don't automatically convert over to followers. So we want to be building up to that 5,000. So inbound friend requests turn into followers. Actually, Alex, if there's anything else you want to ask where we can chat about, but I want to show you the power of this, why this matters, because you might be listening and think, okay, I don't really care. And I can show you why this directly will turn into revenue for your business if you're interested in seeing that.
Yeah, we'll definitely dive into that. Just as a side note, where I am seeing a follower count, so not of friends, but follower count increasing, is in my Reels section.
Mm.
So I'm using Reels pretty heavily. We've actually just commissioned someone to create us 30 Reels a month, highly produced with captions, because we're doubling down on short form video content for YouTube Shorts, for Facebook, for Instagram Reels, etc. So we're like building into the Reel section. So I am seeing follower count go up slowly. It's not as big as yours, but I'm up to about 100, and that's just been growing gradually by a couple more every single week. And I imagine that will start snowballing. And those people I won't necessarily be friends with on Facebook. So it's exposing me to a new network of people who I wasn't coming into contact before because I'm leveraging the feature of Reels. So just a side note and observation.
Like
Um,
exactly, and you nailed it. And that's it. Is we want to build as big of an audience as possible. Everyone who's watching or listening to this, you want as big of an audience as possible. I'm gonna go back and share my screen because I want to show you why this matters so much. And I'll just show you a practical example. I'll go back over on my personal profile here and let's take a look. So I've got a pinned post here. And it says, "We did it. Lucy and I uncovered a hidden source of free leads on Facebook. Guaranteed you're not using this. Interested." And you can see there's 808 comments. I'm going to open up those comments because I want to show you guys where those comments are coming from. Typically, if you're not thinking about growing your audience, who's commenting on your stuff? It's probably your personal friends, maybe some relatives, maybe some of your existing clients, but probably not that many other people. We can flip that script when we start intentionally building our audience. And so let's take a look. I've got Jeffrey here. I'm going to hover over. He's a friend of mine. Let's take a look at Logan. He's a friend of mine. Let's look at Prince, friend of mine. I'm going to scroll up here and you'll see John. Okay, you see how it says
mm,
add friend here? The fact that it says add friend means obviously John and I aren't friends. So how did he see this? There's one of two ways. Either a friend of his commented or liked this, and therefore it was shown to some of that person's friends, including John. John saw it and said, "Oh, cool, I want to comment on this." That's one way. Or John chose to be one of my followers, in which case he sees a lot of my content. Let's scroll up here and let's take a look at a few other people. Got a friend here, friend here. I know some of my posts, if I go through them, it's actually pretty incredible. It's sometimes like even as high as a 50-50. So here's another example. This one, Phil, notice it says respond here. So what this tells me is we're not
mm,
yet friends. Phil sent me a friend request. I didn't accept or decline it. Therefore, Phil becomes my follower. He now sees my posts and he engages on this. Cool example. I'm going to actually open up the messenger with Phil. And let's just take a look here. Okay, you can see Phil, he sends me this long message and he's asking about our software, our Unipro software. So he's quickly turned into a prospect. How did he turn into a prospect? He sent me a friend request, didn't accept or decline that. He became a follower. I posted engaging content that opens up a conversation. And right away he says, "Hey, I'm interested in buying from you." And so you can
mm.
see, hopefully, as you're watching this, you can see the power of this. If you're not using your friends list, if you're not using your followers, you're missing out on leads.
This is obviously a big penny drop moment for people who are just using business pages, but also it should be a penny drop moment for people who are already using personal profiles, but have not realized that there could be random people who they're not connected with yet, like officially connected with, looking at their content, engaging in their content. And so this is a reminder for me and a reminder for anyone listening to like look at your comments. Don't assume you're already connected. There could be leads among the weeds, so to speak. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but I did anyway. You're welcome. There may be some leads there that you can then build your network from. And we got a question actually come through. I want you to maybe just clarify this. Stefan put, if I delete a friend request, that does that keep them as a follower, or do I just need to ignore the friend request for it to be converted?
Yeah, exactly. If you decline the friend request, they go away. They're not in your audience. They're not going to
Okay,
likely see much of your stuff. So you want to leave it kind of in no man's land and then they become a follower.
got it,
Great question.
got it.
I do want to mention one other thing because I just showed you that practical example there of how
Mhm.
these non-friends are becoming leads and actually paying clients as well. There's a second benefit though of building up your friends list to 5,000 and then building up your followers, and that's the social proof of your post. So you look at that post of mine, 800 comments on it, right? And the only reason I got that is because I've really actively built up my audience, and we've used a tool. We'll show you that tool in a second. But the cool thing about that is people see all this engagement. They might not even know me. Maybe we just became friends, and instantly there's a draw. I'll use an example. Lucy, my wife, and I, this happens to us all the time. We'll be walking down the street. I'll be starving. I want to eat. And I'll say, Lucy, let's stop for dinner. Let's go in there. And literally, I'll just point at the next restaurant. I don't even care. I'm not a foodie. Let's just go in there. And
Pancakes. I've seen you eat them in Canada. You go there for your birthday.
yeah, exactly. I don't care. Lucy, my wife, she is a foodie. And so what she'll do is she'll look at the restaurant that I'm pointing at and she'll go peek her head in. And very regularly, this will happen. She'll come back out and she'll say, no, 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 the food's not good there. There's no one in there. And so she
Mm.
uses the appearance of the restaurant, the fact that there's no one dining there, and concludes it can't be that good. Whereas you can probably relate to this. Imagine walking down the street. You've probably seen this where there's a restaurant, there's a line up down the street. What do you instantly think?
Actually, this is super interesting. I went to a Turkish restaurant last night and we peeked through the window and we'd never been before. And we were like, should we go in? And I looked in and I was like, it's a Tuesday and half of it's full, this restaurant. And that's quite a lot on a Tuesday
Mhm.
for people to be gathering in one location. I was like, it must be good. Let's go in. And it was. It was
Totally.
very good.
And totally, and I'm sure there's other people who are watching this who operate under that same principle. So that's what Lucy likes to do from a restaurant standpoint. But listen, that's what your leads are doing based on your content. If you post something, you post a piece of content to your personal profile or in your group, and you don't have an audience, no one engages, then if a small number of leads do see that post, it's actually, we call it negative social proof. So instead of being encouraged to engage because they see other people doing it, they're actually dissuaded from engaging because they see other people didn't. And so,
Mm.
what I want to do and what you want to do is build up your audience, post, get some engagement so that those new leads who are coming in right away, right off the bat, they think, oh, Alex, man, when he posts, people care. I better pay attention too. That's what you want.
Yeah, it's super interesting that you mentioned that because if I actually share my screen, me and Dave operate pretty similarly when it comes to Facebook strategy. If you look at my personal profile, Dave, can you see this on your screen? You should be able
Yeah.
to see this.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're in the crowd, let me know you can see this too. But I've basically done the same thing that Dave has done with his pinned post at the top of his profile, and I've pinned one that's really, really juicy and using that social proof effect, like the restaurant that's busy, to get people engaging. And this was posted in August, and I'm getting leads in October, right? So leads are still coming through in October because we're using that effect that Dave just mentioned that Dave knows so well.
Yeah, and so if you're not doing that, if you don't have a pinned post, what I'd encourage you to do, and Alex, you nailed it, is go through your posts, look for one that got a lot of engagement that shows that people are interested. Pin that, doesn't matter how old the post is. Then, as you're constantly bringing in new leads, and we can talk about how we're filling up our Facebook friends and our followers with new leads all the time. As those people are coming in, then the first post they see when they scroll through your profile, because we know they're going to, when someone comes into your audience, they want to check you out, they want to go scroll through and see what you're all about. They'll see that first post and say, ooh, this person has something interesting. They're an
Mhm.
authority. People are following them.
So I want to shift gears a little bit. Maybe we've been quite technical already, but for people who are a little bit more technical and want to go a little bit deeper with Facebook strategy, which is your really zone of genius and your expertise, like I'm using a tool right now to help me with the day to day running of my Facebook account to allow me to do certain things. So, do you want to dive into that in terms of like the tools you can use to really put petrol on the fire, so to speak, when it comes to expanding your audience, generating leads, and generating clients? You want to dive into that?
Yeah, and I just want to be really clear. If you go take a look at my profile, you're going to see a lot of engagement there. And there might be a tendency to think, oh, yeah, Dave, like Alex said, this guy, Dave, he's a Facebook expert. Therefore, of course, he gets that sort of engagement. But if you scrolled through, and I know this would take a while, but if you were to scroll through and look at my profile a year and a half ago, you'd see the opposite. You'd
Yeah.
see actually very little engagement. Why? Well, two things happened. Number one, I started studying Facebook algorithm and listening to what Facebook wanted me to do. And then number two, instead of just going and doing it manually, my wife Lucy and I, we actually built a tool that automates all of our Facebook marketing for us. And so not only can we listen to what Facebook wants us to do, but we can do it like ultra fast forward. We do it on this warp speed, and Facebook just loves it. And so what that does is it puts us in good graces with Facebook. So now when we create content, Facebook shows it to tons of people. When we need new leads, Facebook is happy to deliver those. And it's because we're listening to what Facebook wants us to do, and we've sped up the process so that we're rising through the ranks. Imagine a leaderboard, and Facebook has everyone on Facebook. So 2 billion people a day are all ranked from the best person on Facebook who's doing everything that Facebook wants to the last place, whoever is in 2 billionth place, doesn't even log in, doesn't use the platform at all. Right. And my goal is to move myself as close to that number one person on the leaderboard. So Facebook says Dave is a VIP. And Alex, I know you're doing the same thing. Anyone who's watching this, you can do the same thing. It just requires you listening to what Facebook wants you to do and then speeding up the process. Alex, if you want me to show, I can demonstrate that, or we can just talk about kind of the tools and how that works. What would you like?
I think visually this would be interesting for people to see, maybe some behind the scenes and you kind of demonstrating some things. So definitely, yeah, we can do a screen share. Interesting. Whilst you're getting that ready, Heather put that it turns out that she's being followed by 9 people. Here's the cool thing, though: she turned on Pro, so there must be a Pro mode on her account, and it turns out she's got 337 followers that she wasn't
Wow.
aware about. So leads, hidden leads, guys. I'm going to be playing around with this, and obviously it depends on your access, your platform, where you are in the world. Different people do have access to different features, and it depends where you're at and where your audience is at, etc. Whether you have these things or not, but things to look out for based on what you've heard today. Go for it. Let's do some sharing.
Yeah.
Is
So
everyone? Yeah, go for it. Sorry, Dave.
I'll start sharing my screen here. And again, Alex, you can let me know if you can see. Can you see my screen? I got Unipro pulled up here.
Yeah, I can see it. If everyone in the audience can just give us a thumbs up if you can see it, and let us know you can see Una on the screen, Una Pro.
So, like I mentioned a minute ago, Lucy, my wife, and I, we built this tool just over a year ago. We built it for ourselves to help us grow on Facebook so that we could do things way faster. We didn't have to do it manually, we didn't have to pay a team to do it for us. And then we just saw the power of these tools that we built, and we put it together into a package that other online entrepreneurs can access now as well. And Alex, I know you use this and it saves you a ton of time as well. Let me just
Yes.
show you. I'm going to just show you one feature here. And then, Alex, if there's anything you want to walk through, because I know you know the ins and outs of Unipro, you'll see here that this top section in the menu here is all about audience. And we've got a bunch of different tools that allow you to do two things. Number one, it allows you to grow your audience quickly. And that could be your friends, could be your followers, could be your Facebook group members. And number two, it allows, as I mentioned earlier, it allows you to find who the dead leads are, who shouldn't be in your audience, and remove those people so you can fill those spots up with good leads, with hot leads. I'm going to show you just one of the ways we do this. So there's a tool here called Gain Friends by Groups. And actually, this is kind of an interesting example right now. Anyone who follows ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson, you may know that as we're filming this, ClickFunnels is launching ClickFunnels 2.0, the second iteration of ClickFunnels. And one of the things they did is they created a challenge for everyone to start off with a bang, and they put all the challengers into a Facebook group. Well, when I saw them doing this, I thought, okay, this software, Unipro, is for online entrepreneurs. And I'm always asking, where are these online entrepreneurs hanging out? Well, they're probably ClickFunnels users. And so I went and joined this group, and you can see it's called Your First Funnel Challenge, and it started on October 10th. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Unipro, I want to go and get some leads from this group. I want to fill up my friends list. And so in this case, I'm going to tell it, we'll be quick here. I'm just going to tell it to go get 10 leads. And then I'm going to, let's hide this. And I'm going to launch here, and you'll see what Unipro does. It'll bring up that group, and it's going to go over to the member section of the group. And I told Unipro only to find people who I have mutual things in common with. And so Unipro, it's going to go and collect 10 leads who I have things in common with. Why does that matter? Well, I want to be sending friend requests. I want to bring these leads in of people who I have things in common with because two reasons. Number one, if I send a friend request to a complete stranger and I've got nothing in common with them, there's a good chance they're going to decline my request. And I don't want that. I want people to accept. The second reason is I want Facebook. Remember we talked about that leaderboard? I want Facebook to see me as the ultimate connector. And Facebook loves it when people who share social circles or they have things in common, Facebook wants us to connect. And so Unipro is smart enough to go and find people who we have things in common, send them a friend request, and Facebook sees me doing this and says, "Ooh, I like this guy, Dave. He's connecting, he's building community. Let's give him VIP status on the platform." And so you can see Unipro is really quick. It went and found 10 friend requests, or sorry, 10 leads, and now it's sending out those friend requests. And it just does it on a randomized interval so that things look supernatural from Facebook's perspective. So I'll just stop that there. But that's one example, one way that we can build up our leads, we can build up our friends, automating it. And I don't have to do anything. It's literally a click of the button. Alex, while I'm over here, I'd be curious, what's your favorite feature of Unipro? Is there anything that you get really excited about?
Yeah, so there's lots of features. I love all the features. But in particular, the one that I really like is I call it like the cleansing the audience feature, where you're looking for people who are in your audience who are actually never engaging and they've been in your audience for a long time. And it just shows you very quickly who's active, who's not, who's interested, who's not. And you can filter them and bulk unfriend the people who are just clogging up your audience and taking up seats, taking up bums on seats, so to speak. And what I've noticed by using the tool and removing the people who are not engaged, I'm actually reaching more people, getting more engagement, and then also making room for people who are interested in me, who are going to engage. Because we need to accept as online business owners that not everyone is going to resonate with us once they connect. So they may connect with you, they may accept your friend request, but then they may never engage, and they're wasting a seat for you. And so Uno allows me to identify those people who are engaged. I'm going to keep them in there because I'm nurturing those people. And the people that are not interested, they're not engaged, they've been in there for a long time, we're just going to remove those. And we just did a cleanse a couple of days ago. I think we removed 300 people from my audience. So if anyone's studying my audience, you'll see it going up, coming down a little bit, going up, coming down a little bit. And I'm really crafting a very targeted and engaged audience. So when I do a post, I can get 100 engagements on that post because I'm really paying attention to who's in my audience. And Uno allows us to do that with a couple of clicks. I don't even do it anymore. So my account manager does it. Because this software is so easy to use, you can give it to a third party, someone else to manage it for you if you want, or you can manage it yourself. But it's that easy. You can just hand it off to someone and they'll manage it for you in the background. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing automated automation by delegating.
I love it. Love it. Interesting story on that. And I'll show you how what Alex was just talking about. I'll show you how it works for everyone who's watching. Interesting story on that though. I do the same process. We call it a cleanse, where we cleanse out those dead leads. Yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, a woman reached out to me and she said, "Dave, have I offended you?" And I wrote back and was like, "No, like not at all. Why do you ask?" And she said, "Well, I noticed that we're no longer friends." And it was so interesting. Obviously, what had happened was she wasn't engaging on my content. Therefore, she was cleansed out of my audience. And it
Mm,
was such an awesome opportunity because at that point, I got to say, well, the only reason you wouldn't be my friend anymore is because it seemed like you weren't that interested in my content. And I don't want to be showing you content if you're not interested. And so it's kind of this reverse selling. Like I was taking something away from her. And Alex, I know you're a great sales guy, and so you can guess what her response was. Her response was she didn't want to lose anything. And it was, no, 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 no. It's not that I'm not interested. And all of a
Hmm.
sudden, I've got this very engaged lead who is a much easier sale than if I was chasing her. I got her to chase me. So, a neat little story about how that works. I'll show you. And Alex, you can still see my screen here, right?
Yeah, correct.
So Alex is talking about the tool is called Scan Friend Activity. And what Unipro does is it pulls up all my friends here, and then I'm just going to sort them by engagement. And so what I can do is I can sort everyone who has not engaged with me. And in this case, I did a scan for 180 days. So in the last 180 days, these are friends who have not yet engaged with me. And you'll see some people in gray here are people who I have locked onto my list. And that just means these are actual friends of mine, or in this case, it's my brother-in-law. So even if he doesn't engage with my content, I don't want to delete him. But what I can do then is I can take all these people who haven't engaged and I could just bulk select everyone and scroll down. And you can see none of these people have engaged. And I'm not going to do it right now because I just did a cleanse recently as well. I could click on unfriend, and then Unipro one by one goes for me over to their profile and unfriends those people. What does that do? It opens up space in my audience, but equally as importantly, it removes those people who aren't engaging, who are sending bad signals to Facebook. Because all these people, when they don't engage in my content, that's them telling Facebook my content doesn't matter to them. I don't want people like that in my audience. So I remove them, bring in people who do care, and my algorithm heats up, my engagement increases.
Love it. Yeah, this saves us like so much time, but not just the time. Um, it's stuff that we wouldn't do if we didn't have the software. Do you know what I mean? It's so like tedious, and you actually can't figure it out without the
You
software
can't.
anyway. So you can't do it. And so it's kind of changed the game for us. We've been doing it. Some of our clients are currently using it. We recommend it inside our coaching program for anyone that's at this like technical level. But if anyone's like watching this right now and you're like, I'm interested, like I like the sound of that. That makes a lot of sense, and I want to play around with it. I've actually put a link in the bio. So if you're on Facebook, if you're in the group, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're watching back on YouTube, wherever you see this, if you click in the description, expand the description, there's going to be a link down the bottom. If you click on that link, it's essentially going to take you to the full details of Unipro, how it works, and how awesome it is. And it's so awesome that Dave named it after his daughter, right? So that's pretty cool.
We did. We named it Unipro because it allowed us to do stuff while still being parents that we would
Mm,
never would have been able to do before. And I'll admit, when you go over to that link, and Alex, I appreciate you sharing the link. When you go to that link, Unipro is not a free tool. There's a ton of effort, ton of investment that's gone into this and
mhm.
maintaining it and watching. We have a whole team of developers that's watching for changes on Facebook. And so you're going to see that there is a price to use Unipro, but the cost savings is so enormous. Your alternative is either to try and do all this manually, and some of the tools you can't do manually. You can't actually go through and see how many engagements everyone has had over the last 6 months. Or I guess you could, but I don't know how long that would take to count up every single like and put it into a spreadsheet. That would be painful. Or you could run a lot of ads, and we know how much ads cost, or you could hire a team to do all this for you, which is very expensive. And so what we've done is we put all the tools together in one spot, made it really affordable for anyone who's serious about using Facebook to grow their business.
Dave, I really appreciate you coming on. We spent 42 minutes here. We only scheduled 30. Appreciate you being so generous with your time. If you got some value from this, just let us know in the comments. Just type in value and hit that like button, just so this gets seen by more people. And we know that you got some value from this. Dave, really appreciate you coming on and spending some time today. And I think a meetup is well overdue. Me and DC need to head over to Vancouver. We
Skiing
need to.
time, skiing
We
time.
do. We do. So we'll make that happen very soon. Appreciate you so much. And hopefully everyone got value from this. Take care.